how to connect Airtable to make.com. So we start on Airtable and we have this sample Airtable. The first thing we need is when do we send the data to make.com. We go to automations and we here start with a trigger. So I choose in this case when a record matches a condition, when let's say I change the status from not qualified to qualified on this table. So now it's not qualified, qualified. Whenever it's changing, it's gonna fire this automation. So we're going back to this and you can choose whatever trigger you want. So this is how we start. Now then what you wanna do is you wanna test this step before we move on. So we're gonna choose record and we have this record and now we have this data that we're gonna use later to test our automation. Now we're going to make.com and we're gonna click add module. We're gonna click webhooks and we're gonna click custom webhook. You're gonna do add, you're gonna give it your name and you're gonna create it. And once you created it, when you click on this, you can see the address in here. Copy this address and now we're going back to Airtable. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna add run script like this, okay? I already have one, so I'm gonna start using it. We're going here, we're gonna do edit code. So first of all, paste your URL in here and let's explain what's happening here. So the first thing we do is we take the config. The config is helping us get variables from the previous steps, from the trigger. So if we delete everything here and we start from 0, if you do curly brackets here, you're gonna see that we have all the data from the previous step, the previous record. Now instead of, you can decide whatever data you wanna move to the make.com and do some automation, right? But instead of doing this, we're gonna choose just the Airtable record ID and we're gonna give it a name, record ID. Now, how do we access this? So we create this variable config by accessing input.config, and we can see even here you can use, it's telling us what to do. And now we paste our webhook URL, and now we just do a simple HTTP request. We take the webhook URL, we add to this the record ID, and this is how essentially we send the record ID to make.com. So let's click first of all run on our make.com, and now let's run test. And if we'll take a look, we see that we have the record ID. This is why it's important to click the test step so you can actually see these variables. If you're not seeing the variables here, first of all, do the test step and then move on. Now next, what we're gonna do is, now that we have the ID, we can call this Airtable module. We're gonna do Airtable, get a record. And if we can see, first of all, what you need to do is you need to connect to your Airtable. Make sure that when you connect your Airtable, make sure that it has access to the table that you are trying to work on. You're gonna choose the base. We're gonna choose the table that we worked on right now, and we're gonna give it the record ID. The record ID, as you can see, it's coming from step 1, so we're just gonna give it the record ID in here. We're gonna do OK, and we can even test it without running it from the Airtable. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just run this step only. We're gonna put record ID, okay. And as you can see, we got all the data. So now we can use it with whatever we wanna do with this record data, move it somewhere else and so on. And the final thing I wanna show you is if you connect back the result that you got from make.com to Airtable. So now that we finished doing the work here, let's say you wanna get it back to Airtable. Mostly you will not need this because we are limited to 30 seconds of actions, but let's say you do something very minimal and you want to get it back to Airtable. What we're going to do is we're going to go to webhooks and we're going to put webhook response. We're going to connect it, and in the body, let's say for example we're doing some work, we want to get it back. Let's say in this case we're getting like the score. We did some calculations very fast. We want to get it back to the Airtable. We do OK. We run this here, then we go back to our script and we do test. What we see is that we got 4. This is the score that we got from make.com. So we send data to make.com. Make.com gave us back data. So now if we want to move it on to the next step in the automation, I'll give it a name. So here what I'm doing is I'm taking the result that came from make.com. I'm translating to a text, okay? I paste it here, so we see this, you see the console log, it's 4. And now I'm taking this value and I put it in output.set. Here I give it a name, score, and this will help us move it to the next step. So let's do a test again. Let's run it once. Great, now we see that we got 4. But if we finish editing, and now let's say we wanna do something with the result, what we're gonna do, let's say for example email, if we do again the curly brackets that we talked about before, we click on the step of run a script, we see score 4, so we can use the score in the next step. Now let's give it a final test. Let's do here an update. Let's run the make.com, wait for new data, go back to the data. Let's take, for example, score 1. Let's do qualified. Let's wait. If we go to automations, we can go and see automation history, and it's in progress as you can see, and it ran successfully. Let's go to make.com. We see that we got everything here. It sent 1, it got all the information, and that's it. And that's how you connect Airtable to make.com in a few minutes. Make sure that you copy the script that I shared in this video below in the description. Make sure to like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And if you like this video, I'm sure that you're going to like this video next, so make sure to watch it next. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.